Today on Cooking with Anand, we are going to make mini cheesecakes as a last little treat for my big sis on her birthday. And they're going to be made with cupcake liners. So the first step was to line your cupcake tin. And I'm making a batch of 18 because my sis is turning 18 today. And a general rule of when you're making cheesecakes that I like to follow is you should have 1 block of cream cheese to 1 egg to 1 tablespoon of sour cream to 3 tablespoons of regular sugar. That's kind of like the ratio I like to do. And those are just the base ingredients. I didn't include the other things. And for the graham cracker crust, you want to use some good graham crackers that you like to eat alone. And what I'm going to do with my graham crackers, I have 7 of them. I put it in this cereal bag and I put a little clippy on it. And now I'm just going to bash it with a rolling pin. And it doesn't take too long to bash. And I'll be right back when this is all crumbled. I've completely pulverized these graham crackers as far as they can go. And I want the crumb to be as fine as I can get it because it makes it easier when portioning out the crust. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the melted butter and I'm going to add it directly into the bag. And it was about 1/3 of a stick of melted butter that I used for 7 graham crackers. And right now, I'm also going to put a few tablespoons of brown sugar just to sweeten the crust a little bit. I'll put 3. And the actual cheesecake itself isn't too sweet. You can make it a little bit sweeter in the crust if you want to. And now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to shake it. Okay, the brown sugar and the butter have completely mixed in with the graham cracker. And now it's kind of like if I crunch it together, it can form a ball. That's kind of what you're looking for. It'll look crumbly a little bit, but that's kind of what you want. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just put tablespoonfuls into each of the muffin tins. And then what I'll do is I'll take this fancy smasher and I'll just push it in so that it's an even crust, like that. Welcome back. I've completely filled all the crusts and I figure out the perfect ratio for making the graham cracker crust. 1 tablespoon of brown sugar with 2 graham crackers, 2 full graham crackers. So it would be 4 squares. So 2 full graham crackers to 1 tablespoon of butter. And that's going to make you 4. So every graham cracker that you use makes you 2. That's what I figured out. So now I'm going to put these in my preheated oven. It's preheated to 355 degrees. I'm going to put it in there for about 3.5 minutes until it's lightly golden at the top. So I'll set the timer. And I also have this leftover graham crackers, just a tiny bit extra. And just like if you're making cookie dough, it's always good to eat a little bit. My graham cracker crusts were in the oven for about 3.5 minutes, and I've taken them out, and I'm going to let those cool because they need to be cool. And meanwhile, I'm going to make the cream cheese filling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my softened cream cheese. Very important it's soft. And I'm just going to add one brick at a time into this and kind of try to smoosh it down into the bowl. So you just rub until it's easier to work with, because it'll soften a little bit more after you smush it. I've softened my cream cheese by spreading it around in the bowl. And now I'm going to add some sugar. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar to this. And you kind of have to do it in stages, and that's the best way to avoid lumps. So I'm just doing 1 block and putting the sugar, 1/3 of the sugar and 1/3 of the sour cream in here. And then I'll do another block and repeat. And so I'll also put about a tablespoon of sour cream in right now. And I'll mix this up. I've added 3 bricks of cream cheese, 9 tablespoons of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of sour cream into this, and I've mixed it. I'm going to add some vanilla, about a teaspoon. A teaspoon of vanilla, and half a lime or lemon's worth of juice. Now that I have the vanilla and lime juice in the cheesecake batter, I'm going to start adding in my eggs. I'll just add in 1 egg and then mix it through. And you just mix it until you can't see the yellow anymore. And it looks a little bit weird right now, and it looks hard to mix in because it's kind of separating and coating the cream cheese rather than mixing in with it. But it'll eventually get there. The cream cheese batter is done. I've added all 3 of the eggs into it, and I added them one at a time. And then I ladled it into this creamer, and now I can pour it into this. And it might be a little bit stubborn, but that's why you have a spoon. So I'm going to put my cheesecakes in the 355-degree oven. And what I did, they were a little bit lumpy on the top, so all you have to do is just shake a little bit and tap it a little bit. And now we can get on to the raspberry sauce that's going to go on top. And remember, these cheesecakes have to bake for 20 minutes, so I set the timer for 20 minutes. Now we're going to make the yummy raspberry sauce. I have about 20 raspberries in here, and these are just regular sized raspberries. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to rinse them a little bit, rinse them, and then drain off the water, and put it on medium-high heat. And what I'm going to add to it is a little bit of maple syrup, probably 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup, maybe a little bit, and same amount of agave. And now we're just going to let these raspberries stew. And what you kind of want to do, you want to mix it in at first so the raspberries are coated. So now the syrup is really hot, and now I'm just going to mash the raspberries with a fork. And this, you just want to mash it so that, you know, the raspberries have little seeds, so that each seed is separated from the actual raspberries. This raspberry sauce has been simmering for about 4 minutes after I've mashed the raspberries in with the maple syrup and agave. And now you can just refrigerate it. So I'll be back to enjoy this on my mini cheesecakes. I've just pulled my tray of mini cheesecakes out of the oven, and they are kind of risen a little bit, and they're puffy right now. And in a few minutes they'll completely sink, and there'll be a little crevice for us to put our raspberry sauce. But when it's cool enough to handle, you actually have to refrigerate these 1 hour minimum. Hello, welcome back to Cooking with Anand. Today is July 27th in the morning, and my sister was born on July 26th at night at 9:59. But scientifically, her birthday is today, because every year is equivalent to 365 days plus 6 hours. I just pulled these cheesecakes out of the fridge and they had been resting in there overnight. You could probably just do it for an hour or two, but I did it overnight. And I have this raspberry sauce that was also in the fridge overnight, and it's thickened a lot. It's almost like a soft set jam right now. So, as you can see, I lined them up to look like 18. Perfectly smooth and sweet enough and tart enough and has a nice balance of flavors, and the crust kind of just brings it all together.